The Electoral Commission of South Africa has announced that it is technically ready to host a free and fair local government election in October. Now, this will be the first time that elections are being held during a pandemic. For more on this, I'm joined by our reporter Mbali Thethani, who is there for us. A very good afternoon to you, Mbali. Certainly a very tricky time for the IEC to make sure that they're able to deliver, quote, free and fair elections in the time of the pandemic, and also noting as well that there are some political parties who are still not yet comfortable with going ahead with local government elections. Give us a roundup of what was communicated this afternoon.
That's right, Tammy. We have seen the IEC officially launching the elections campaign, of course saying that they are more than ready to have the local government elections later this year in October. And they've said this over numerous occasions. And they said that, over the past couple of months, they've used the by-elections just to see how well prepared they may be, especially now during a time where we are facing the pandemic. And of course, Tammy, it is the third wave. We also know that there is also that voter registration weekend that is expected to take place in July on the 17th and of course as well on the 18th. But just to give us some more insight in terms of why we're here today and specifically why the IEC is still going ahead, despite calls from other political parties who have said on numerous occasions that they just feel as if that we are not ready yet to have elections. And of course, this comes on the back of that report that is being conducted by the former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke. But Tammy, I am joined now by IEC CEO Mr. Sai Mamabolo. You have now come here, you've said this on numerous occasions, you say as the IEC you are ready to have your elections, and you've also reiterated that fact today.
Indeed, we will be ready. We are on track to deliver a registration weekend, and all circumstances permitting, we will be ready and on track to deliver a credible electoral process, one which is envisaged by the Constitution. We are alive to the fact that we need to give space to the Judge Moseneke process, and we want to urge all role players who think they have a view to contribute, to do so by making a submission to the judge, so that all matters can be systematically analyzed against the provisions of the Constitution, against health data, and against the norms that we've seen emerge from other jurisdictions. So we're quite confident that we've set up a process that has credibility, and we will be receiving a report towards the end of July, which will give us guidance as to the next steps to undertake.
When looking at this report, I know that you are now doing this because some political parties have said that, well, as much as the IEC says it is ready to have these elections, but we simply cannot go ahead with elections as we cannot campaign in the manner in which we are used to. How far is the process of that review report? I know you say that you are expecting it towards the end of the month, and it is quite an intricate report that the Chief Justice has, the former Deputy Chief Justice has been tasked with by the IEC.
Yes, as the Commission, we've made our own submission last Friday, and the judge was of the view that report, our submission rather, must be made public, and they intend to place it on the webpage that is created for that purpose. In fact, the judge's inclination is that everything that is submitted must be made public. And everybody can go interact and hear what our views are on the matter. But our view is only an element of the broader perspective of South Africans. So we encourage others to also make similar submissions, in particular political parties and so on. And there's a deadline by which they need to be making those submissions. And those submissions will be systematically analyzed, as I indicated, against the provisions of the Constitution and the law.
And there is that voter registration weekend. You say that there's the IEC can only afford to have one voter registration, despite the fact that we are in the midst of this third wave of the pandemic. But at the same time, Sai, you have launched another initiative, of course, looking into other means of trying to get more South Africans registered to vote. And of course, this is an online platform in which you've spoken about. If you can just tell us more about that, I'm sure you are trying to not have too many people turn up at voting stations to come and register, but to also now start to use alternative means to ensure that they register to vote for the local government elections.
Certainly, that is on our horizon. We're working full steam on that. However, it has become necessary to get into intense consultations with political parties to iron out issues of security and some anxieties about whether people will be bussed using that facility. So we are in discussions. As soon as we conclude those, we should be able then to make announcements.
Thank you very much. Of course, that is Simon Mavola, the CEO of the IEC there, Tammy. Just also speaking about that report in which the former Deputy Chief Justice, Ikgang Moseneke, is expected to, make public and deliver it to the IEC. And of course, this is expected much later in July. He says there towards the end of July, but also encouraging South Africans to also make their submissions when it comes to concerns of whether it is conducive enough for the country to have free and fair elections. They have said that they've used other countries as examples to aid into this report, who have managed to have elections during a time of a pandemic. But we know here in South Africa, some political parties have voiced out and said that, well, how do you have political parties when we can't meet as political parties? Some of us don't have access to various technologies. We can't we can't campaign through Zoom meetings and so forth. So here it is a difficult task for the IEC, and they've said it, during this launch, saying that it is really a difficult time to have these elections, but they are more than ready to have elections in October.
Well, thank you very much, Mbali Thethani, for that update. Seemingly it is really all systems go for the local government elections to be held in October. That's Mbali Thethani there.